Hello, beautiful, and welcome to the Moms Talk Sex podcast with me, Mor Yelvington, your host. I'm so excited that you're here with me today to have this really deep, heart opening conversation with the beautiful Wendi. Hi, Wendi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so happy that you're here. So, how about we start with a little introduction, what it is that you do in the world and a little bit about who you are?
Okay, I've been working in the energy healing field for about 20 years now, and I wrote a book called The Healing Questions Guide, and it's relevant questions to ask the mind to activate healing in the body. And many of the things that show up, like, especially in women's health, have to do with their beliefs and their feelings, their thoughts, and about their own sexuality and about their body.
Yeah, that is so true. And so, how did you come about to write a book about this?
Well, I noticed when I was dealing with my clients that we were processing so many deep emotions and deep beliefs. I come from a high demand religion, and so most of my clients were in that religion. And I started to realize, oh, sorry about that. I started to realize just how many beliefs that they had that were actually closing their body off and creating contempt against the body rather than a deep desire to explore and curiosity about the body and honor about the body. And so, in the Healing Questions Guide, the book that I wrote, the questions are designed to interrupt those pathways, those neural pathways, and to engage with your higher self using a question you didn't think to ask because you didn't know that it was correlated to what's going on in your body. And so the book was for my clients to use in between sessions so that they felt empowered to be able to troubleshoot their own body and use their body as a circuit board to understand what beliefs are incongruent with who they really are so they can step into their full potential. And so that's how the book came about, is actually a tool. It's to do multiple sessions on yourself and to really engage in challenging the beliefs that you have that are contributing to what's going on in your body.
I love that so much. So, what are some beliefs, like maybe common beliefs that you saw that came up for a lot of your clients?
Common beliefs is for women had to do that, like I'm an inferior race, or that
Mm.
my body is dangerous, or because of constantly being told that she was a temptress or that she was the weak one. A lot of religions kind of lead with that narrative. And so we feel a little bit scared about our body and our potential and our energy there. And a lot of the modesty and purity culture that is also in the religion that I grew up caused us to just really have contempt against that power and to like not touch ourselves or explore ourselves or understand how our body operates and because we were so forbidden to have those sexual exchanges before marriage, um, it really, once you do get married, it doesn't mean you download all the information about your sexuality and how to have that pleasure in the bedroom. And so a lot of times it shows up in issues with your ovaries, PCOS. It shows up, with issues with your breasts, issues with um, a lot of anxiety, and it can actually develop into a whole cluster of things if we have that animosity or contempt or confusion or worry about our body, rather than that true connection to it.
Why do you think it is that such religious practices do this to women's bodies? Like, I'm really curious, like, what do you think this is? Because I see it in every religion, right? Even even I feel like every side of religion has the extreme side, right? And
Yes.
so why do you think that is that women have to be so shamed for who they are and their bodies?
Wow, you're going to go really deep with me here.
Well, I have my own thoughts about this, but I'm curious.
I I love it, and I appreciate that you're going there. No one's ever asked me this, but this is just my own opinion. As I've reflected back and really fully deconstructed from my religion, I understand that a lot of masculine religions and religions that honor patriarchy and centralize men, um, that It helps them feel like they're in control and helps them uh, be able to position themselves and keep themselves central when they demonize a woman's power and a woman's energy and they try to harness it and control it for themselves. And so they apply shame narratives to it and really diminish the power of women that is actually the gift of life and the power of life, and that we as women now are responsible for teaching each other about this power and this gift. And depending on men to write the narrative about that has really not been helpful. And it creates a lot of sexual distortion, a lot of chaos. It causes us to use our sexual energy quite irresponsibly, but it also it causes those who are tightly woven in the religion to be afraid of it and to not know how to harness it in their own benefit and realize that's their creative energy and that that's their energy for life and that they should feel absolutely free and curious to express themselves that way. So I'm
I
curious
love
about what your theory is on that.
No, I love what you said. And so I'm curious, as someone that went out of such a constrictive religion, are you able to still be spiritual and connecting to your body? Like, how did that transform? Because I've interviewed so many different women from different kinds of religions, and some of them have completely, stepped out of their religion completely. And so I'm curious with you, like, how do you see this happening in your community?
Well, when I primarily work with people who are deconstructing, who are completely leaving their religious paradigm, and they're in that state of exploration, and they're starting to understand their sexual power. And a lot of times, because they didn't have any partners up until the time they got married, they're really at this state of exploration. And it takes a while when you're tightly wound on one side and you let go of that belief, you usually swing over all the way over to the other. And sometimes they get pretty reckless with their energy. And so it takes a while for them to come into balance and to understanding what honors them and to realize that we all have our own um, determinant, our own preference, if you will, as to how we want to engage with our sexuality. And I feel like I'm coming to the answer of the question that you asked me, but I am really confused about what the question is again. Can you ask me that again?
Yeah, of course. It was more about, can you still be spiritual or be
Spiritual.
connected to your religion and be empowered in your body?
Yes. Okay. So it's really misinformation or an out and out lie that religion makes us spiritual. It does not. Our spirituality is innate in who we are as human beings, and our spirituality is grown or magnified and explored more the more we go inside and the more we decide who we are and what we want to do, what lights us up, when we explore our own energy without those limitations, without fear and shame and guilt and all those things, my experience is we become far more spiritual.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, I guess hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, it's solely the connection to creator, to God. So,
Yes.
and what we were and I love what you were mentioning before, how when we go from such an extreme, it's so hard to go to like the complete other extreme, not realizing that that's also causing trauma. And so it's really about finding that balance in you, not coming from avoiding or defending, right? But coming from really a place of what it is that I want, what it is that I desire, really learning those tools for you. And I feel like those are the questions in your book that are really helping. So maybe you can share maybe one or two questions from your book that can help our moms to kind of
Yes.
tune more into their body.
Let me look. So in the book, you'll look up certain symptoms that are showing up in your body. And so I'm just going to go to menstrual problems because
I love that.
we're
Or
all
even
kind of
maybe
struggling
low
with that.
libido, if you have anything about low libido or women, sometimes.
Let me look that up. I'm not sure that it's in here. Low libido. What would be another uh, um, fragility. I'll look that up. So, like menstrual problems, what am I resisting about my feminine role? What am
Mm,
I not accepting about my body? So you can see how these questions invite you into a conversation with your higher self deep within that spiritual realm. And then questions that only you can answer that will
yeah.
really give you an idea of, maybe just how out of touch you are, or maybe some confused ideas that you have about yourself. Some other questions. What will it take to let go of any guilt that I hold regarding my sexuality? And what will it take to accept and appreciate my genitals and the process and the organs that create life? And then I always put in here an affirmation. I fully and completely accept my divine feminine power, and I honor the divine and holy purpose of my body. And so many times we don't realize that our menstrual problems, yes, can be hormonal, they can be emotional, but a lot of them also have beliefs about your feminine energy and your right to explore it and express it. And any guilt around that actually contributes to those menstrual problems. So let me look up
That
rigidity.
is so true. I'm total testimony to that. Because when you're not accepting who you are, that creates pain in your body. Your body wants to be accepted, it wants to be loved, it wants to be cherished and touched and held. And if we're not
Yes,
providing that and we're judging it, that creates pain in the body.
absolutely. So this is what I put on feminine issues in the book. Many of the symptoms specific to women are connected to the patterns developed over generations of feminine suppression, objectification, and abuse. These lingering beliefs are tagged onto the genetic DNA records. And even though women may feel equal and empowered in the conscious mind, many times there's still subconscious programs contributing to the decay and disease of the female organs. The evolution of the planet is calling for a more feminine and masculine issues of the past to be healed and to come into a partnering balance. And this requires women to forgive the wrongs of generations past, and for men to reverse the dominant or controlling patterns and begin positioning the feminine energy as an equal balance. And ironically, many of the male specific symptoms are also linked to generational patterns that violate the universal laws of equality and balance. And so many of the questions under female sexual arousal disorder, we finally get to the question that you asked. There's four here. It says, what will it take to forgive all the sexual violations in my DNA cell memory for all generations? And this is where we go some deep generational healing. And the things that we're experiencing in our day that are coming to light and that you and I, are here to balance out, have been going on for a really, really long time, for
Yes.
generations and generations. And isn't it a great opportunity for us to be here in this dispensation, being able to work out these things and bringing them into balance? The second question is, what will it take to forgive myself for the times that I've used my sexuality to exploit myself or exploit another? And
Mm,
that's a wise and mature woman coming into balance with her sexuality and using it responsibly and engaging it in things that are actually meant for her higher good and that of her partner.
yes, I love that.
And the next one is, what needs to be healed in my relationship with my partner? So a lot of times
Mm,
that frigidity or that inability to have that arousal comes because there are some unhealed emotional issues that have come up, and many times we bring these issues up to our partner and realize that our partner's not a safe place to express these things, and so we keep them trapped inside, and then it actually affects our performance in the bedroom.
yeah, totally.
And then the last one is, what nutrition does my body require to allow me to have optimal arousal? So a lot of times we have to get into a doctor and figure out what are their hormones, what's going on hormonally and my internal fluids in my body that might not be allowing me to have that increased libido. So an affirmation for all this is, I know what needs to be said and done to heal all the sexual violations of the past. I choose to create new thoughts and beliefs regarding sex that will allow me to freely express my love sexually.
I love that. And have you found, and this is interesting, but have you found that when you do the work and the women that come to you do the work, they actually become very aroused and their libido spikes up even without adding hormones or any kind of supplements, just by healing the body?
Well, it is my theory, and many things are starting to prove it now that our hormonal imbalance begins with our thoughts and feelings and emotions and moods,
Yeah,
and that actually starts to impact the hormones. And so, if we go to change the hormones without changing our beliefs and our understanding about how we're approaching our sexuality, those hormones are going to have to be changed all the time. They're going to have to be adjusted because we're working with the symptom rather than the cause. And the cause is our beliefs.
exactly.
Yes, I do see women once they accept their body and they release these patterns of shames that have been imposed upon their psyche for generations, they do become sexually aroused and life becomes arousing. Everything becomes beautiful and a little bit orgasmic. And they become a little bit more specific about the partners that they're willing to engage with. They become more understanding about what they want inside of them and if it's really going to bring them peace and harmony or if it's going to create more chaos and anxiety.
Yeah. And that to me is the epiphany of being in your power, right? You're
Yes.
so in power, you're so connected to everything, to the divine, to your energy, to your
Yeah.
body. I call this the diamond effect, right? The mind, body, soul,
Mhm.
and source. When you're all connected, you're so
Yeah.
magnetized to the world. And that's really what this work is about,
You,
really activating you from within.
yes, because you're truly lit and you're
Yes.
truly powerful. And men who aren't able to handle that power or feel intimidated by that power or who feel like they want to control that power, and that's when we come back full circle to the beginning of time, that if we can put any tag of shame on that, when we try to control that, it is because of fear.
Yes.
And it's because that power is so magnificent. It is so creative. That feminine power is the power to create life. It is the portal to all life. And so, of course, men would like to control that. Of course, they're going to put in narratives and stories and religions and place gods and storylines about the purpose of women beneath them. Not all men are like this, but I think in the beginning when they started suppressing sexual energy, that they understood the power of it and that needed to be controlled.
Yes. And I truly believe the more women step into this power, step into their diamond status, the quicker this world will change. And everything that we're seeing with abuse and with rape and with diminishing women will disappear because we will be in our power and the energies will just balance out.
Yes.
And so this gap wouldn't have to be filled with control. It will just be balanced. And there will not need to be the need for that. But in order for that to be, you, person listening, needs to step in to the person you came here to be. So,
I I agree. And you have a responsibility to control that power within you and to use it responsibly and to put boundaries on yourself and say, if things are not reconciled with my partner, I'm not going to engage in that chemistry. I want it reconciled so that when I'm engaging in um, the most powerful creative event that I can participate in, that I do it in integrity with myself, and that I'm not having multiple partners and doing it irresponsibly and just scattering my sexual energy all over the place. That we come into this mature balance and being able to control our impulses and to be able to control who it is we share that power with. And when that happens, we actually naturally, to what you were saying, bring men back into alignment with their highest and greatest. We're not going to cheat on other women with their man, then we're not participating in that confusion. And when we're not going to participate sexually with our husband, if we're not feeling in alignment and whole and peaceful about what's going on in the relationship, again, we teach them to come in alignment with the highest and greatest good. And with that comes a lot of responsibility and love and divine connection.
yeah. Yeah, I love everything you said. It's so powerful. So, if our listeners want to find out more about you and where you are, where can they find you?
I work with people who are going through religious deconstruction, and you can find me on my website, Wendi. wendyjensen.com. And you can find my book on Amazon if you're looking for things in your body. I don't know, that's a very
Oh,
good
sure.
picture there, but The Healing Questions Guide by Wendi Jensen. And this is a troubleshooting tool to help you to be able to identify what's going on in your mind as you're trying to heal your body.
I love that. I think it's such an amazing and powerful tool. A lot of times we take for granted asking questions. We don't see it as something so powerful, but asking questions has changed my life
Hmm.
and still does. When something is coming up and it's stuck, I'll just ask a question. Even if how does it get any better than this? Right?
Yes. And isn't it cool how our divine feminine intuition gets to be boarded and honored, and so we can engage in that, and it really guides our life. How lucky are
Yes.
we?
So lucky. I feel so honored that you took the time to come and share this with me and with my listeners.
Oh, absolutely.
It was a beautiful conversation. And if you're listening and you have any questions, you want to learn more, please reach out. Please leave a comment. We would love to hear your thoughts and feelings about this. And we're here to support you every step of the way. So thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we'll tune in again next week. I hope you have a beautiful week and have lots of fun, amazing love, and intimacy with you and your partner. Bye.
Bye.